So we're back again with the Opel Manta i200 restoration. This is going to be episode 15. On today's episode we're going to be concentrating on these inner chassis rails. We're going to be making these from a 40x40mm box section with a 3mm thickness wall. We're going to get these tacked in place, we're going to make some cuts and fold this into position to set the shape of this floor pan. Now we've got this floor section in, we've actually got somewhere to follow and we know this is in the correct spot. So we're going to draw a straight edge off the middle of here. So we've got a line we can follow so we know our inner chassis rail is going to be in the correct spot when we come to put our outer skins over the top. Once we've got this somewhere near, we're then going to refit our chassis jig and we can mark up our fixing point holes for where the lower crossmember bolts fasten to. Once we've got our hole positions using the jig, we can then use the cone cutter, drill some holes either side and place a sleeve inside that 40mm box section so that when we tighten that bolt up for the cross member we know that the box section is not going to crush, it's going to be nice and strong. So let's get to it.
What a feeling when your people stand beside you. You in my heart, homie, but I'm on my grind too. Everybody say they never have the time to hang with all the ones who've been down since they got fly too. They say you ain't a man till you on your own. So I took that grind from country club and busting back home. Yeah, I took it out to Baltimore to hopefully grow. Live with my sister for a year before I went on my own. Do construction just to build, I had to finance my goals. Just a kid up in this room, busy up in the zone. It's amazing where we made it, still so far left to go. But I'm working, still not perfect, I'ma show you the road. Do it for my people, I ain't wanna lie to. You know it's real when you spittin' what's inside you. Want some more, trust me, I'm.
We've got our jig back on. We've put our hole in the correct position using the jig, which is marked out for the hole positions, one there and one under there. So that's now in the correct position. We've got our chassis rail laid in and tacked into place. Now that's tacked into place, we can take this jig back off. I've just placed this outer skin on just to try the fit. So we're going to take the jig off, we're going to pull this outer chassis rail skin back off, and then what we need to do next is we need to now produce a patch to go into this section here. We're going to clean all this floor section up and treat that with the Built Amber Hydrate 80 and obviously put some primer and some paint on that, because again once this is covered up with the patch we're not going to be able to get back in here to treat or paint that floor, so we're going to get that done first. So let's get this patch fabricated and see what we can knock up. Got some Built Amber on there, we're just going to wait for that to go off. So in the meantime we're going to start to fabricate this piece for this section here. So we've measured this, it's about 65mm by about 35mm and it's 10.5 inches long. So we've got a patch over here on the bench which we've cut out just to a workable size. This is obviously too big, so we've measured across here 65mm. We've cut this to the 10.5 inches, so we've got something to start to fabricate with now. We're going to get this into our sheet metal folder, like that, and we're going to start to make some folds. So I've got that, guys. We've marked out our folds, so this is going to create our 35mm depth either side of that panel. So we're going to make our first fold on these two lines there, and we're going to fold that down, we're going to fold the other side down, and then we're going to fold the other end back up, which will give us our start of our box that we need. And then we're going to then have to fold another 10mm lip across here to allow for the edge what we're going to spot weld into. So let's get some folding done. Move you back a bit there. We've got our patch somewhere near now. It's still not perfect, but we are going to have a little bit of a fettle about with this. So that's going to fit in there somewhat like that. Now what you'll notice is because the seat fastening brackets are here, they're protruding. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to mark this panel roughly about there and about there, and then we're going to joggle these edges and put a step in them. And then what we've also got is we've got a dip in the floor about there, so we're going to put a dip in this section there. going to go down, so that'll follow the line of the floor, and then a joggled edge back up to suit this bracket there, and that should start to fit somewhat like. This is our edge joggler. As you can see there, what it does is it squeezes the panel and puts a step into it. So we're going to put this onto our panel there, and we're going to give that a squeeze. It's going to start to put a step into our panel. We've got our patch laid in there now. There is a slightly bigger gap around here and around there than I would have liked really, but it is what it is. So I'm no professional at this, I'm just a normal guy doing this in my spare time. Just basically trying to show you guys some of the tricks I use. So yeah, it is what it is. I'll get this with a welder, I'll be able to fill them holes in. So I'm going to seam this up now. I've drilled some holes down here to spot weld into, so we're going to get these plug welded up, and then I'm going to clean this section off up there, put some rust treatment and some primer in there, primer all this bit, and then we're going to start to lay the outer chassis rails in and move on up into that swan neck and get some of the strength back in this car. So that's our patch we've fabricated, now welded in. It's been ground back. There is a couple of little bits I'm not entirely happy with. There's some little bits of weld down here. I can't really get anything in to grind that back anymore. I mean, by the time this is primed and got some under seal on there, it's highly unlikely you're going to see these bits. But that's all nice and solid. That's gone in pretty well. So what we're going to do now, I've cleaned this section up. Got most of the junk off there, so we're going to treat this now, and we're going to blow some primer on all of this. I'm going to get a few more welds on this inner chassis rail, just strengthen this up some more, and then we're going to prime this whole inner rail. Once we've done the priming section, we're going to start to fit our outer skins and get these installed. We've got to pop our holes into our outer skins yet for the plug welds, so we're going to get that done. So that's the next stage. Let's move along. Well, that's our patch now all primered. We did put some primer on the inside of that as well. We've primed all the way up inside this inner rail, and we've now just begun to place this outer skin on. We can now tack this in place, probably get another couple of tacks on there, and then we're going to start to fabricate and play around with the swan neck cover, which is going to go on there. So obviously we need to do a bit of cutting, banging, shaping on these. As I explained in the last video, these are not the best, but that's all that is available, so we do have to make these fit. So that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. On the next episode, hoping to get this finished, the swan neck finished, and then again we still need to get up into this area and into this damn A-post here that I keep saying I'm going to do, but the more I look at it, I think don't really want to cut that out until I've got some strength in here, which I'm now beginning to get in. Once I've got this strength in there, I will feel much more comfortable to start cutting more of this out, because we didn't leave a lot of strength in there at all. Jig's been back on the car, so these holes are in the right position. So fair bit of work done, but also there's still a fair bit of work left to do. But we are getting there, taking shape pretty well now. The car's getting stronger by the day, which is always a good thing. So stay tuned, and hope to see you on the next one. See you later.